Good morning and welcome. Welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Church of Boulder. I'm the Reverend David Schwartz. I serve as minister here, and one of the things that I love about this congregation is the hum in the room, the buzz in the room. Just the way. I read today that a good way to have a conversation and make a connection is just to ask weird random questions that sort of create an improvisation together. I feel like I'm hearing a lot of that before the service today. It's good stuff. I am also grateful for the way that we co-create this community together, and I'm thinking of that especially for everyone outside right now who is barbecuing up a storm for us to eat in. Yes, yay is correct. Yay is absolutely right. I want to extend a very warm welcome to anyone visiting for the first time. Rather than gathering because we all believe exactly the same things in exactly the same ways, we're an intentional community gathered around our shared promise to support one another on our individual spiritual journeys. We're also intentional about bringing all ages together, especially in a service like today. And this means we're making space for everyone in the room, physically, so if you need to scooch. If you need to move. If a child needs to make noise, that's okay. They are not bad. If an adult has a tickle in their throat, if you need to cough, you also are not a bad person for coughing in the middle of the service. If a child needs to move around this space, that's okay. If an adult needs to fidget or knit or draw, someone asked an adult coming in, "Can I have a kid's order of service too?" And the answer, of course, is yes. If you're joining us online this morning, fill out a visitor form in the link in the description. We'd love to connect with you. Right after the service this morning, of course, the men's group hosts our annual barbecue. I hope you'll stay for lunch, even if you did not plan to or know that it was happening. There's plenty of food and plenty of room. It'd be great to have you there. One announcement this morning, our new fall adult religious education calendar is out. And good. Grab a copy there on the desk in front of the office, but especially, I want to draw your attention, the deep dive this fall. For 5 weeks, starting on the last Monday of September, the Boulder-based death doula Diane Hullett will lead a course exploring the physical, the spiritual, the emotional and practical and legacy dimensions of the end of life. Things to think about and learn about and talk about in order to live a fuller life here and now. It's for anyone who may one day face the end of life. Yours or anyone else's. So genuinely, everyone's welcome. Diane will be here next week between the services at 10:30 in the Emerson room. If you want to chat with her, get more of a preview of what that class looks like, I encourage you to come and meet her. But for now, will you rise in body or in spirit? Let's begin in song.
If you like reading music, our opening hymn is in the gray hymnal. It's number 361. But if you don't like reading music, the lyrics to the hymn are on the screen behind me. It is a very joyful hymn and it goes by very quickly. It's Enter, Rejoice, and Come In. Yahoo! We go a little bit faster. There we go. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Woo! Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your ears to the song. Open your ears to the song. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Open your hearts, everyone. Open your hearts, everyone. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Don't be afraid of some change. Ooh, don't be afraid of some change. Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Enter, rejoice, and come in. Woo! Today will be a joyful day. Enter, rejoice, and come in.
I'm Rachel Alba, and I serve as the Director of Religious Education here at the Unitarian Universalist Church of Boulder. The chalice is a symbol of our liberal faith. It is the fire. Its fire is the warmth of compassion, the light of justice, and a lamp on the spiritual path. This morning, I'd like to invite Jacob, Beth, and Evie Fling to light this morning's chalice.
Good morning. We are the Fling family. I'm Jacob. This is my wife Beth and our daughter Evie. We came to UCCB looking for a place where our family could grow together in love, curiosity, and community. And what we found here is a home that welcomes us fully and gives us a real sense of belonging. For me, spirituality is less about being bound to one tradition and more about being open to the wonders of the world. I find grounding in nature, in the people who surround me, and in the mysteries of science and space. Even something as simple as gravity reminds me that we are all connected and we're held together, and a part of something that is much larger than ourselves.
I grew up going to church, and I knew from a young age that my spirituality did not align with that of my family or community of origin. So I spent most of my adult life sort of doing my own thing. But when we became a family of three, I knew that it was important to me to seek out spiritual community for our family. And I wasn't exactly sure what that would look like, but I was pretty sure I wanted it to be a multi-generational community with shared values and principles, a place where we could practice sacredness and reverence that Evie could be a part of, other than just our family blessing our campsites, or attending Christmas services with my family. So we started coming here about a year ago, and it's been a really tough year for our family. So we're really grateful to have been welcomed here, and we're really looking forward to getting to know more of you.
I like this church because everyone is kind in this church. And I'm glad that Becky and Rachel and Irene are here because they are loving and kind to lots of kids and me and my family.
And we'll light the chalice. Thank you very much.
Can I tell you a story? First part of the story, anyway. Once upon a time, Once upon a time, the community center in a small town caught on fire. And the townspeople were scared, but they immediately went into action to save their beloved community center. John the librarian came with his favorite coffee mug filled with water, and he threw it on the fire. And Annie the muralist came with a paint bucket full of water, and she threw that on, and Lisa the teacher came with an empty plant pot full of water, covering the holes in the bottom so it didn't leak. Joey, the town's favorite 4-year-old, came wielding the teacup that her doll was drinking out of. The thing is, everyone just grabbed the nearest empty pot or cup or bucket, and they filled it with water, and they ran to the fire. And after they poured their water on the fire, they went home and they filled up their pot or teacup or bucket again. And this went on for an hour and a half, and the fire did not shrink or go away. It just continued. It kept on burning, despite what they were doing. I think you've had times, I know I've had times like that town, where you're working on the hardest things. You're putting in effort, and things are not getting any better. And just like you probably felt in that moment, the townspeople were feeling discouraged and tired. And as their frustration and their discouragement and their tiredness grew, eventually they couldn't keep going anymore.
So let's take a moment to pause with our townspeople. Is there anything in your life that feels like you're working as hard as you possibly can and there's still not enough change? Okay. Well, according to what I wrote, there's some ideas around what that might be that I'll read off, but you can see if they match your experience. Maybe it's getting better at memorizing math or a political cause you care about, or maybe your garden just didn't grow well this summer. Or you're working on your pickleball serve and it's just not coming together. There can be a lot of feelings. You can have fear that the situation will never change, and that fear drives you to work even harder. Or maybe you feel anger at yourself for not being good enough, or anger at the thing for not being your thing. Or maybe you feel sadness that you've wasted so much time working on something that just isn't working. So I want you to take a moment and consider what things in your life are leading you to feel that fear or anger or sadness. And as you think of that thing, cup your hands and imagine you're holding it out in front of yourself. Now, often, when we think we need to work harder or hold tighter, what we actually need to do is the opposite. We need to rest, or release a little control, or play, or ask for help, or do something completely different. So as you look at that thing in your palms right now, take a moment and see if you can imagine something bigger than all of us. Nature, time, this community, being willing to help you hold these things. And as you take a moment to see if you can feel into that, as you start to feel that, release your hands a little bit and let them rest palm up on your thighs. And take a moment to just notice, what does it feel like to not have to hold it so tightly? Maybe let out a sigh. As you're ready, start to think about the things that are good in your life, the people you love, the delicious meal you had earlier this week, and the delicious barbecue you're going to have in a little bit. The last time you got to see something beautiful. And as you think about these good things, scoop them up, and with your hands, let your hands rest on your heart and just push them into your soul just a little bit more. Seal that sweetness into your life. And then let that go. We have a couple of blessings and concerns that I want to read from our whole community. Our member Dan Lampre's wife, or former wife, was diagnosed with a complex cancer, and so he's off helping his kids process that and be with that, and he'll be doing that for the next several months. So just holding him and his family in our hearts. And then Tom and Karina Denkenwolf are excited to share that they are pregnant. And the next baby Denkenwolf is due in March. No, those are my favorite blessings to announce. For the blessings and concerns that all of us carry, we hold this compassionate space with love.
So we left our poor, stressed out townspeople exhausting themselves, bringing one teacup, bucket, or plant pot to the fire. And just as everybody was about to give up, the fire chief came and told the townspeople, "We cannot put out a fire like this. Everybody is working too hard and at the same time not doing enough. We need to start a bucket brigade." "What is a bucket brigade?" asked Joey, the town's favorite 4-year-old. "A bucket brigade is where we make a few lines with people holding buckets, and we pass lots of water from one bucket to another until it gets to the fire. It's like a road for the water to travel down. It goes faster and gets more water to the fire, and it doesn't exhaust everyone." The townspeople made a few lines and started their bucket brigade. At first, John, the town librarian, felt that when he passed just water from one person to the next in the middle of the line, far from the excitement of getting water and far from the excitement of being close to the fire, that he wasn't really helping. He couldn't really see that his work was making a difference. But because the town was more organized, some people could do things other than the bucket brigade. There was the PE teacher, Mr. May, who was running up and down the lines, giving everyone updates on their progress and keeping people excited about their work. When John heard from Mr. May that the fire was smaller, he remembered that even if he couldn't see the progress directly, it was still happening. Annie, the muralist, also wasn't in the bucket brigade anymore because she wasn't needed there. And instead, she decided to make a lot of food so that when the fire was out, the townspeople could share a meal, celebrate, and replenish their bodies and spirits. Now that there was more organization, each person could help out where their gifts would do the most good. Some people weren't doing flashy, exciting things, but everyone was doing essential and important things.
Just like the people in the bucket brigade were bringing water together, we are now going to bring water together. The water communion ritual started in 1980 with a group of Unitarian Universalist women. They led a service for each other, celebrating the importance of women in religious and spiritual leadership. From all over the country, they brought water from rivers and creeks and ponds and oceans near their homes. In the service, they mixed the waters together. Each took a bit home in cosmetics and perfume bottles to remember that while society has used cosmetics to remind women of their inadequacies, these can be repurposed to remind ourselves of our innate beauty and value. Yeah, right? The intention wasn't just to claim a place for women in leadership, but also to embody the reality that a spiritual community is an ecosystem. And just like an ecosystem, it can only thrive when every member of the community is seen as beautiful and valuable and able to fully flourish.
We come together today in that same ritual to mingle waters together a symbol of how together using our gifts, we make this community and the world a better place. The action itself is simple. We'll pour just a bit of water into the bowl here in front, but the intention behind it is deeper. Each of us sharing of ourselves authentically to build a place where we can all flourish. In a moment, as the music begins, I'll invite you to come forward. We'll start with the back of the room and then the sides, weaving our way back as best as possible. To come forward and to pour some water into this vessel. And as you're coming forward, look around. Each person around you is a part of this community. And you are too, and we have different gifts and different needs and different backgrounds and different stories, and each of us are in a different season of our lives. And each of us are part of the whole, unique and united. One of the meanings for the word communion is gathered in unity, gathered in a common humanity. In this annual water communion, we remember who we are and what we're about. Just as water exists individually in molecules, in droplets, and collectively as lakes, as oceans, we are united as individuals in a living tradition that flows through this house, that flows forward through time. Bringing this water and merging it together symbolizes our fellowship. We're young and old, we're new to the congregation and long time members. We are grieving everything that has been lost, and we are acting our hope into reality. This mingled water is made sacred by the many hands that have poured it with intention and love, the many stories that each droplet contains, and the many lives surrounding it in this moment, connected by commitment, by faith, by community, and by hope.
Going back to our story, once upon a time, the community center of a small town caught fire, and the townspeople worked together to put it out. By late afternoon, the fire was finally extinguished. Everyone was tired, but happy that their community center was saved, and they were excited to share a meal together and celebrate their hard work. Naturally, the next days and weeks would involve rebuilding parts of their community center, but they took a pause every week to celebrate their work thus far. The townspeople worked to remember that they didn't put out the fire through everyone working as hard as they possibly could, but rather by each of them doing what they were best at, by using their gifts to serve the whole.
In our world, in our lives today, there are fires to put out, figurative fires to put out. And rather than exhausting ourselves, we each need to find where is it that our gifts and the world's needs intersect, and then work there. We need to remember, too, that rest, that playing, that trusting in community and not trying to do it all individually. These are essential parts of saving, of healing, of repairing the world. You're not alone in the work that you do. Here we are with all these gathered companions, kindred pilgrim souls, sailing together into our shared future. And will you rise in body or in spirit? Let's sing that out.
In the Teal hymnal, this is number 1064. The lyrics are on your screen. Though below me I feel no motion, standing on these mountains and plains, far away from the rolling ocean, still my dry land heart can say, I've been sailing all my life now, never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is give thanks to the waves upholding me. Hail the great winds urging me on. Greet the infinite sea before me. Sing the sky my sailor song. I was born upon the fathoms. Never harbor or port have I known. The wide universe is the ocean I travel, and the earth is my blue boat home.
This month, we split our offering with Teepee Raisers. And I'd like to invite Teepee Raisers Executive Director Dave Ventimiglia to share a few words on the mission of the organization. We're delighted to have been partnered with Teepee Raisers for a few years now, and many of you have been to the hub or been on the trips. Dave, welcome. It's always really good to have you here.
She told me, go to the highest microphone.
Yeah, you got to get right on top of it.
All right. Good morning, and thank you for inviting me here to speak. Imagine you're a farmer and you've been asked by your community to turn a barren field into a thriving garden to feed the community. And so you go out and you buy your seeds, you get your soil, your compost, you till the soil, the barren land, and you plant the seeds. And then you become overwhelmed with the insects and the drought and the weeding. You're trying to do it organically, and it becomes overwhelming, and you turn and you walk away. Imagine what happens to the seedlings. For those of you who are disturbed by the wild horse herds that are overgrazing the pasture land, BLM pasture land, imagine that you're trying to help them survive. And so you write a check to bring in hundreds of horses into the corral systems to save the horses. And then you realize that it takes an enormous amount of money to continue to feed the horses. And wild horses actually don't do well in corral systems. They get infected and the veterinarian costs are skyrocketing. And besides that, wild horses don't train well. And so you turn and you walk away from the wild herd. Imagine what happens to the wild herd. There's an old moral code that requires us, if we have the resources and the ability, to help living things that are suffering. There are no exemptions to that. There's no exceptions to that. For those of you who have been to Pine Ridge with us, to Hopi, to Dene, that feeling of overwhelm is common. When we're standing on a roof on the village of Walpi or Tewa and replacing the roof, and we look at the dozens of other roofs that are caving in and the people looking at us for help. For those of you who have packed our food boxes to send them to Pine Ridge, knowing that those food boxes will only last a family of 10 or 15 for 2 or 3 days. For those of you who have cut firewood and transported 8, 9, 10, 11 cords to Pine Ridge, knowing that we need 100 cords of firewood. I'm here to suggest that the way that we see charity in the Western world is deeply flawed and even immoral. I'm here to suggest that we need to fundamentally realign how we provide service to other people who are suffering. I'm here to say that we're required to provide service to people who are suffering before our own needs. I'm here to suggest that when people are suffering and need material donations, food, firewood, etc., that has to come before our second TV, our second car, our 27th Starbucks of the year. I'm here to suggest that that moral code, that if we have the ability and the resources to help living things in suffering, that that's a requirement. It's not a recommendation. Thank you.
I invite you to give as generously as you're able, and then after the service, Dave. For 45 years, we've done this water communion ceremony each year, saving a little bit of the water that we collect, filtering it, cleaning it, and putting it together with all of the past year's water. This vessel holds 45 years of the life of this community, and we use it in our child dedications when we welcome new life among us.
Immediately following the service, we will pour some of this water out, or some of that rather, to nourish our memorial garden right around the corner. Fred Cole will lead us in blessing the four directions and pouring this water as a symbol of our commitment to respecting the earth and creating peace in the world. Any who wish to join us in walking outside will do so during our closing singing, and there's little watering cans for kids to hold with water, so we can do that easily.
This space is made holy by your presence, by your intention, by your awareness. So too is this water blessed by your intention. It's given meaning. It's given a kind of weight that can't be measured. This water is sacred.
This water is made sacred by the many hands that have poured it with intention and love, the many stories that each drop contains, and the many lives surrounding it in this unique moment, connected by commitment and faith. This water is community.
May it continue to flow with shining reflections of the gifts that flow through each of us. May its ripples be a reminder that the changes, the growth within this community, bring movement and transformation to the world beyond our doors, ripples of growth and change. May its purity offer grace to our community and the willingness to forgive each other and ourselves when we make mistakes. This water is sustenance.
In moments when the reservoirs of hearts and spirits are drained by sorrow and pain, may it nourish them with the knowledge that we are surrounded by a deep and abundant love. Amen. Will you rise in body or in spirit as the choir and Emily and Austin send us onward in song?
You sing with us too. May my hands do the work they were sent here to do. May my ears know the truth from the lies. May my voice speak for justice. May I walk unafraid. May I see through compassionate eyes. May my hands do the work I was sent here to do. May my ears know the truth from the lies. May my voice speak for justice. May I walk unafraid. May I see through compassionate eyes. May my hands do the work I was sent here to do. May my ears know the truth from the lies. May my voice speak for justice. May I walk unafraid. May I see through compassionate eyes.